So, when you think of a map on your phone, what comes to mind? Probably just a utility, right? A tool to get you from point A to B. But what if a map could be more? What if it could be the start of an adventure before you even step out the door? Let's dive into how amazing design makes that happen. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The best maps out there, the ones for hiking and exploring, they're not just about data points. They're about creating a feeling. They tap into that sense of curiosity we all have and build this real emotional link between you and the place you're about to see. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Designing a feeling? That sounds kinda out there, right? But it's not magic. There's actually a super powerful design principle at work here, one that's rooted deep in our own human psychology. It's the secret ingredient that turns your phone screen into a window on the world. And that secret ingredient? It's a concept called biophilic design. This is all about bridging the gap between our modern technology and our ancient human instincts. It's really the key to making a map feel less like a tool and more like an invitation to explore. Biophilia is basically this idea that we as humans are just hardwired to connect with nature. It's in our DNA. So great map design doesn't try to fight that. It leans right into it. It uses design tricks to spark those same feelings of wonder and excitement you get when you're standing at a real trailhead looking up at the trail ahead. And this is where it gets super interesting. In map design, this idea of biophilia really boils down to two key patterns. First, you've got prospect. That's your big, sweeping bird's eye view when you can zoom out and see the whole landscape. It makes you feel safe and control. But then there's mystery. That's when you zoom in on a winding trail that disappears into the trees. It grabs your curiosity and makes you ask, I wonder what's around that corner. Okay, so that's the cool, high-level theory. But how do you actually build that? How do developers take these big ideas of prospect and mystery and turn them into a user experience you can actually interact with? Well, it all comes down to a few core UX principles. At the end of the day, any map that wants to be inspiring has to absolutely nail these four things. It's got to be crystal clear and easy to read. It has to be incredibly fast. It needs to feel fluid and interactive. And of course, the data has to be accurate. Your safety depends on it. Let's break down those first two. And this right here, this is biophilic design in action. Clarity isn't just about big fonts. It's about using colors that we instinctively understand. You see lush greens, you think valleys and lowlands. You see earthy tans, you think highlands and peaks. And that subtle shading, the hill shade, it's designed to mimic how sunlight hits the land, instantly giving a flat screen a 3D feel so you can read the terrain at a glance. Now let's talk performance. Have you ever been out on a trail, your phone service is terrible, maybe just one bar, but your map still pans and zooms like magic? How in the world is that even possible? Well, the secret is in the tech that delivers the map to your screen. The big difference is how the map data gets to your phone. The older method, raster, is like getting a bunch of tiny pictures stitched together in a mosaic. It's slow, and it can get blurry when you zoom in. But the modern way, vector, is a total game changer. Instead of pictures, your phone gets a recipe with instructions on how to draw the map itself, right on your device. It is way faster, always razor sharp, and super customizable. For outdoor maps today, vector is a no-brainer. All right, so if you're a developer thinking about building one of these awesome maps, what's in the toolkit? What do you actually use? Well, there are a few major players in the game, and each one has its own special strengths. This gives you a really clean breakdown. You've got Mapbox, which is the go-to if you want total creative control and gorgeous custom designs. Then there's Google Maps, the absolute beast when it comes to rock-solid reliability and its massive database of places. And for the tinkerers and budget-conscious folks, combining the open-source library Leaflet.js with data from OpenStreetMap is an incredibly powerful option. So what are the big apps like AllTrails or Gaia GPS doing? Well, they're playing it smart. They're not building everything from scratch. They license a powerful, high-performance base map from a service like Mapbox, and then they layer their own secret sauce on top. Their huge, hard-won database of trails, waypoints, and reviews. It's really the best of both worlds. And that brings us to what is honestly the most exciting part. That great base map is just the canvas. The real magic, the wow factor, happens when you start painting on top of it with all this amazing, dynamic data that truly brings the landscape to life. I mean, this is where a map stops being a static image and starts breathing. You can throw on trail routes from files like a GPX, pop on custom waypoint markers. You can even overlay live weather radar or see current avalanche risk zones. This completely elevates the map from a simple reference to a critical planning tool. And one of the coolest features is that elevation profile. So, you know that super useful little graph at the bottom of the screen showing you all the ups and downs of a trail? It's actually a really cool three-step process. First, the app loads your trail route. Then, it pings something called a digital elevation model, which is basically a giant 3D database of the Earth's surface to get the height of every single point along your path. Finally, it just plots all those points to draw you that handy profile. And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? When you combine that beautiful, nature-inspired design with these powerful live data layers, you're not just making a map anymore. You're building a command center for adventure. You're giving people the power to plan smarter, stay safer, and dream a little bigger. So in the end, it all comes back to this one powerful question. All this technology, all this design theory, it's not really about the code or the pixels. It's about forging that connection with the world around us. It's about inspiring someone to get out there. Because a truly great map doesn't just show you where you are. It shows you where you could go next.